What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry. Today we're going to discuss how to set up and configure a very important piece of technology that ESRI have developed. Are we recording? Yes. Docker is also running. A very important piece of technology that ESRI has developed over the past, I think, 8 years or so. So this technology is called ArcGIS server. We talked about this around other topics as well in many videos. I'm going to reference the videos that we discussed the ArcGIS stack, where we discussed the different platforms, the geodatabase, the desktop, the different technologies, and client server services, all these kind of things, right? So ESRI have a technology in general, right? It evolved from basically having a desktop machine with file-based maps or databases into today, like to the concept of relational databases, transactional databases. Again, client server. There is a client, there is a server serving these databases. And then a client connects to a database, does a request, read, write, receive the results. So you can see this has developed even further. This was pushed even further to the concept of services, where, okay, instead of now every client has to learn how to talk to the database, we now know how to basically talk to services, which is a very common theme of protocol, which is the HTTP protocol, right? So enough babbling. I always go through this. I talk and talk and talk, and time never permits. All right. So how to set up, how do we set up this ArcGIS server? ArcGIS server is this technology that enables us to publish services, to publish maps as services, and then consume these maps. Think about it this way. Once I publish my map or my layers as a service, I don't care what's in the backend. I always talk to the service. And to talk to the service, I use the god-awful SOAP, which is a dying technology, or the new protocol, which is REST, HTTP, right? All right, so let's get this done. ArcGIS server. So let's set up this. How do we set up ArcGIS server? The first time, it's going to ask you to install ArcGIS server. So this machine will be a server. It's very important where you install this piece of technology. Now, I am installing this into one machine. Okay, and let's keep this in mind. This machine will become a server. It will serve the maps. Okay, it will connect to the geodatabases. It will do all this hard work. Okay, and I want to reference my book that I authored around 3 years ago, I think, about administering ArcGIS for server. A lot of details went to that book, so grab it and read it for more details. All right, so accept. You can enable this. This will allow us to extend ArcGIS server to write our own services. And okay, and instead of us just talking to the vanilla services that we publish, we can write Arc object on top of servers. This is very interesting, so I'm gonna leave this checked. Next, install Python. This guy, this user that you pick here, will host the ArcGIS server service, because the moment you install this will become a service. It's gonna become a service on this Windows machine. By the way, ArcGIS server is also available on Linux, so that's the beauty of this, right? So it becomes a service regardless. And this guy will be the owner of that service. That's very important again. right? So if you plan to do multiple ArcGIS server GIS servers, you will need to use the same user. But in this simple demo, I'm going to use the local. So this guy will create a local ArcGIS user for me. Let's go ahead and just type in a password for this guy. If it exists, it will create it. If it doesn't, it will just create it. What did I say? I don't remember what I said. Next, it doesn't exist, so it's gonna create it. This is okay. I don't really believe in this. This is like this is useful if you are doing a lot of setting up on multiple machines. You want to save time, so you export that file and you import it in each installation. All right, and we're gonna see you after this finishes. Right, so this is gonna take whatever it takes. Welcome back. ArcGIS 10.4.1 for server has been successfully installed. So the moment this machine became a slave to this product, that said, you cannot use it for anything else. I'm kidding. I don't know what's wrong with me today. All right, so this machine now has become a GIS dash server. Okay, so it became or become. So you need obviously to authorize it with ArcGIS server license. And then once you license that, you're now licensed. So this ArcGIS server, the first thing it does, it says, okay, let's go. And what it does, it tries to connect to the ArcGIS server manager. That's the first time, because it's using localhost and this port. Firefox doesn't trust it by default, so you have to add it as an exception. And then this is what you get. This is a very important step in your life, guys. Okay, this is either one. There are one or two guys here. You go here, you go here. You create a new site, become your own self, right? Celebrate yourself or join others. Which side will you pick? We're gonna create a new site. I'm sorry about this, guys. I don't know. So, what is a server site? This is a very important topic, right? And I hope I can finish this discussion in less than 15 minutes. But it's very advanced topic, right? Please leave questions in this video, and I'm gonna talk about it, right? But a server site is basically a logical division on which many machines like this can join the site, right? So, and then this becomes like a mesh of huge network, right, of machines that can serve your site, which eventually can host services, right? So you publish a service and someone makes a request to this service. Okay, this service lives on a site. And this site, how many machines does it have? It have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 100 machines, right? And then there become the load balancing and all this beauty of this architecture. All right, enough being a poet. Let's continue. So this is the primary administrator. You do this once, right? So you create that administrator. These are the directories where the server will spit its files. Obviously, since I'm configuring it to be a one machine, I'm going to use local. However, these directories should be shared. If you decided to have multiple machines, these guys have to be accessible. These directories have to be accessible from all these machines. All right, and then finish. That we have a server site. So You notice that by default the server side is running on port 6443. So that's the HTTPS server. That's the HTTPS port to connect to this instance. So there is like a mini web server installed with ArcGIS. It's basically Tomcat, Apache Tomcat. So that's mini web server is hosting that web server, which hosts this on top of port 6443. And we're gonna learn in another episode how to install the web adapter, which then forward the port from HTTPS 443 to this port 6443. And we're gonna discuss the advantages later. So let's go ahead and log into our ArcGIS server, and you can see I have only one service here. I'm gonna discuss publishing in another episode. This is a huge changes. All right, so I want to discuss this piece by piece. So let's go ahead and see. Like I have one service by default, sample word cities. You always get this when you install server, basically. And then when you click capabilities, you can go and visit this URL. And you can see the content of this simple service that is already published here, right? Then you can use all these tools to view that service, and you can see, like, I'm not using ArcMap anymore, but I can, by the way. So this is the sample that we got. Like we got what is this, population? I don't even know, but it's like this sample word cities. I think these are the cities, and symbolized by the symbology or some of the population. Yeah, cities, continent, and word. So these are the layers, and this is the service name, and you get the map server, which is the server hosting basically this service, right? I'm gonna stop here, and we'll discuss the configuration and all these fancy things in ArcGIS server in a configuration episode. See you in the next one.